Battlefield Bad Company kind of caught me off guard. It's actually a pretty amazing game, and it's because of moments like this.
You smell very clean.
I don't know if you know this about me, but I have a very pro-explosion agenda. When things blow up and they blow up well, I'm made happy. Battlefield Bad Company blows up a lot of things really well, but it's actually a lot more than that too. It has meaningful multiplayer play, what you'd expect from the Battlefield franchise, but what you wouldn't expect is that the single player is also really strong too.
They call it Bad Company. A mismatched bunch of rejects placed to serve our country as cannon fodder.
The single player is more than just a series of bot matches and that sort of stuff. It actually gives you a cohesive story with meaningful characters. You're kind of thrown in with these misfits, these screw-ups, and sent out to just do battle on the countryside and take out a whole bunch of Russians. Along the way, the guys at your side will be cracking wise, and you'll see a lot of in-engine cutscenes that really help you connect with these guys. The dialogue's pretty clever, and they're fun to be around.
We could split up into teams and take them both at the same time.
Oh, yeah, that's interesting. Or I could shoot the two of you and do this thing along with Marlowe.
And the gameplay in Battlefield single player does maintain that Battlefield feel. These areas are really wide open. There's a lot of ground for you to traverse, and as a result, there are different ways to tackle some situations. Early on in the game, you basically have to go into a couple of different farms and clear them out of enemies. And you know, there are roads leading up that you can take, but the roads are where all the guards are kind of looking. So you kind of sneak around or just drive your vehicle and bust through a fence, drive right up the middle. There are different ways to get into this situation, and that's pretty cool because it does give you a feeling of freedom. Of course, this is primarily a first-person shooter, so you do spend a lot of time behind the gun. The shooting does feel pretty satisfying, largely because there are a ton of different weapons to use. But when it comes to doing business, the most satisfying way is with explosives. A lot of these weapons have grenade launchers mounted under the barrel, which is handy. You can just tap and they'll flip up the grenade sight and you can just start popping off grenades. You're almost always going to have something you can use to blow big holes into things. And that's how this game is really meant to be played. When you get into close quarters, typically it's a series of buildings. Each one of these buildings is full of enemy soldiers. So you can kind of lean out of a window and look over through the other window and try and take them out that way. Or you can just blow a hole in the side of the building, expose them, and then gun them all down. It's awesome. Then there's the multiplayer. A lot of the multiplayer in Bad Company is what you would expect from a game bearing the Battlefield name that appears on consoles. That is to say, it's class-based multiplayer. It's a little stripped down compared to what you might find in Battlefield 2 on the PC, but in a way that makes it feel streamlined, not like it's missing big features. It's still class-based, but they've even kind of combined stuff there. So you have one support class that actually is a medic and a mechanic, so you can repair vehicles as well as repair other players, which is pretty cool. It actually makes the support class worth playing. I don't usually play medics or any of that, because that's weak. You should be hurting people, not helping people. But this actually makes helping out people on the battlefield kind of fun too. The mode in multiplayer is called Gold Rush, and it breaks up the two teams into attackers and defenders. The defenders are trying to guard gold crates, and the attacking team is trying to blow up those gold crates. If the attacking team can manage to blow up these gold crates, then the defending team is pushed back to another set of gold crates, and then again, at which point the attackers would win. The multiplayer is full of these same kind of trademark Bad Company moments, and a lot of the cases of blowing holes in things to get at stuff, and just that kind of wanton destruction is present in the multiplayer just as it is in the single player. You'll also find similar things that you found in previous Battlefield games, like unlocks for the various kits. As you rank up, you'll earn credits that you can use to open up additional weapons. It makes the game more dynamic than just the typical kind of run and gun, shoot guys down sort of stuff that you might expect.
There has to be better ways to start a new career. But you know what they say about hitting the bottom? It really, really hurts.
So putting it all together, I had a great time with the single player in Bad Company. The characters are really memorable and fun to be alongside as you're shooting your way through stuff. And then the multiplayer really kept me coming back as well. So when you combine these things, I was left with a game that I really, really enjoyed, and I recommend you check it out.
You smell very clean.